Welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, a show for those that hunt with a passion and drink with a purpose. As always, I am Gus.
I'm Matt.
That's Matt. And we are always and forever grateful to our patrons. Thank you to the Waypoint Network for having us. And thank you, our listeners, for listening. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. We're excited to bring you the third episode of this year's SEWE Spotlight. This episode is with the one and only Andrew Beam, who we had on a couple times before. Third time is as good as always. So, talked a little bit about hunting, a little bit about music. We talked a lot about country music this time and how things are going with him in that industry and his rapid climb through the ranks and shows and traveling and putting hundreds of miles on thousands of miles on the truck and all kinds of good stuff. We had a really good time.
Yeah, Beam's an awesome dude. We had so many people come by and thank us for turning on to him and just checking him out and going to a show. He opened for Ian Munsick, which is pretty crazy. During SEWE, he played Friday and Saturday. We went and slung him some whiskey. We got to hang out with him on Friday night at the Quell Forever banquet, which was also an awesome time and something I will continue to do every year.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a great podcast. If you've heard him before, you know his twang, and we're excited to put out another one with him.
Cool. Yeah, well, a great podcast. Always a good time. But before we do that, before we let you get into that, we have some really great sponsors for this year's SEWE Spotlight podcast, and we're going to leave you with a few messages from those sponsors before you get into it. All right, before we share with you the message from this first sponsor, we just wanted to draw a little bit of attention to it. As you've watched the SEWE Spotlights, you might have noticed the awesome background and the room that we were in. That was a show apartment or suite that the Jasper Charleston loaned to us to make possible for us to record and have guests in a very nice, comfortable, quiet place that was convenient to downtown and where everything was going on for SEWE this weekend. So a huge shout out to the Jasper Charleston for
big thank you
for letting us do that. It was a huge help. It was very convenient for everybody to get to us. And I don't think we would have had the success we had with the awesome guests we had this year if it wasn't for that location. So huge thank you. And we look forward to hopefully doing it again. This podcast is brought to you by a world of inspiration, style, and pure creativity at the Jasper Charleston. I'm here to tell you about a place that's changing the game for artists and stylists, Ashley Artisan Suites. Nestled at the base of the Jasper, right where Broad Street meets the Ashley River, this isn't just a spot on the map. It's a vibrant hub in the heart of Charleston's finest neighborhood. Picture this, a collective of local makers, artisans, and health and beauty professionals all coming together to offer you a lush array of health and beauty services, cutting-edge fashion, awe-inspiring art, and handmade treasures that'll make your heart skip a beat. But what sets Ashley Artisan Suites apart? Well, I'll tell you. It's not just a place to work. It's an upscale place where you can surround yourself with other creatives and take your experience to a whole new level. Each suite comes complete with water connections for vanity and sink stations because your creativity should flow just as smoothly as the Ashley River. And here's the kicker. Fixed rent with utilities included, a reception lounge that's practically begging for brainstorming sessions, and a private lounge with a washer, dryer, and utility sink, and complimentary Wi-Fi to keep you connected to the world while you cultivate your business. It's time to relocate your business to Ashley Artisan Suites, the creative space for those with polished taste. It's not just a space. It's a community of innovators, dreamers, and those ready to meet their mark.
Podcast is also brought to you by Tethered, which is pretty exciting. As most of you know by this point, I got into saddle hunting last season and didn't really talk too much about my setup because, well, honestly, I wasn't happy with it. I love the idea, but I just didn't experience all the things I heard fellow saddle hunters say. It seemed like I was missing something, mainly comfort. And I hear about these all-day sits being a dream scenario, and I wanted those things, but it just felt like my current setup was not going to give me the true comfort without sacrificing some of the functionality that I had. And that's when Tether stepped up in this approach and their innovative design. We met up with Tether at the Great American Outdoor Show, and I'm thrilled to tell you about the Ultralock and specifically the Ultralock SD if you don't want to get all the pouches and extra accessories. But it's like Tether read my mind. So let's talk about the Ultralock links real quick. So I used to wrestle with the pleated saddles. They flop around all at the wrong times. It's just they don't seem wide enough. There's a ton of problems with them. But Tethered reimagined the game with this expandable saddle body and Ultralock links. So just think about this, a saddle that moves with you while you're walking, climbing, hunting, it doesn't matter. The saddle expands out so much when you're in it that it practically feels like you're sitting in a hammock. And that's truly going to give you that all-day sit that you were looking for. But also the Ultra Bridge and the comfort channels, they're the unsung heroes of the saddle. With Tethered's patent Ultra Bridge technology, I've got nearly 40 inches of on-the-fly adjustability. Finding my sweet spot has never been easier. And these comfort channels, unsurpassed comfort with 7 different settings. I can practically feel the coziness just talking about it. So we're also going to give them a shout out for the good old USA. Tethered built the load bearing components right here in the United States, specifically in Texas.
Heck yeah.
Crafted with care. So if you've been listening to us talk about saddles over the last 15 months and notice we rarely talk brands, it's because we haven't found the right one to truly stand behind. But I wish I had started with Tethered. But even honestly, I probably would have ended up still buying this Ultralock either way this year. Gus and I both will be enjoying the comfort of the Ultralock all season. So look forward to us being pretty vocal about our new setup. And you can check them out at Tethered Nation on Instagram and look at all the people that are actually enjoying their stuff. And they also sponsored the giveaway this year at SEWE, which a lot of people were entered to win, and we'll have those results coming soon. So yeah, think differently. Go and try out a Tethered next time you see one at the store. It's good stuff. Something that's also awesome and helped us out a lot at SEWE was Burnt Church. So they have a saying, purpose beyond profit. What a great tagline. And it's something we fully understand around here. We've spent a lot of good money on hats and products like rock glasses and other things that just, they were not something we could sell to our customers, and we ended up eating it or throwing it away or giving it to friends. We want our products to be quality and serve a purpose beyond profit. So Burnt Church Distillery is located in Bluffton, South Carolina. And if you like going to distilleries, this is something special and very beautiful. Everyone we met that worked there is a stellar human. They make an incredible product. We always try to stay brand agnostic on our whiskey classes and just in general answer the question, what are some of your favorite whiskeys? But when you find a gem, you just have to show it off.
So Burnt Church hooked us up this weekend with a bunch of whiskey to pour for SEWE customers, and it truly revolutionized our event. Peter, the head distiller, was there all day and on Friday, spreading the good word about all that is Burnt Church, and it really elevated the experience having him there. The amount of compliments I heard about Palmer Stretch, Bluffton Whiskey, and Anita's Choice was absolutely amazing. We teach whiskey classes. We know not everyone is going to like what we like, but every single person we poured this for loved it, and many of them came back asking for more. Can you imagine being a distillery and having 3 of your bottles available at an event for tasting, and every single one was a home run? Absolutely incredible.
Just great stuff. And we want to thank Burnt Church also for always being so supportive of us. Thank you to Peter for coming out and talking to our customers. That was amazing, dude, to have a head distiller on site at an event telling people about the whiskey that we've been preaching about for months now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love them all. Chris is an amazing guy. It's just everyone we've met from there is just, we're so lucky, team. Man. We have some amazing connections, and we've met some amazing people doing this. And yeah, we'll shut up and get into the show. But thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoy it, and have a good day. Cheers and all that. Andrew Beam,
what's going on, Matt Green?
Thanks for having us, sir.
Yes, how you doing?
Thanks for coming on. We're having you. Thanks for coming on.
There you go.
I poured you some delicious Anita's Choice over there.
What is this?
It's Anita's Choice, a distillery out of Bluffton, South Carolina.
Called Burnt Church Distillery.
Burnt Church Distillery, yeah.
6 grain bourbon.
But you feel the dustiness funk on the back end of that? Amazing. It's so good.
I'm trying to book there, man. I followed up on the contact y'all gave me, and he keeps leaving me hanging. So
well, he listens, so you can tell him right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Have me out there. You should have him out there.
Call me. Trying to book. Schedule's filling up.
His new stuff's nuts. His new music is great. It's it's all great. It's always been good, but that new song you just wrote, where are we at? Columbia. Yeah. That was a crazy show, dude. I'm so thankful you invited me to go along with that.
Dude, that was awesome, Tom. I'm glad you were able to hang out the after party, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's always just a really great group of individuals.
Yeah. And we left, like, at the perfect time. Like, we stayed long enough for us to all be like, we all at the same time were like, it's time to go.
Yeah. Well, it was like 3:30 in the morning and raining. Raining. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we stood outside in the rain for like 4 hours and just sat around a fire pit and drank.
Smoked cigars.
Yeah.
Steve Taylor's a legend, man.
I like it.
That dude's something else.
Yeah, he's awesome. You say you look like Jerry Springer.
He does, and he didn't like that.
Matt's making enemies like 30 seconds into the green room.
I was like, you know who you look like? Jerry Springer. And he was like, And
he
just walked off.
He said, I don't like that, and walked off.
Yeah, that's what he was.
He's a great guy, though.
Yeah. We ended up making up. We were friends by the end of the night. So
that's whose house we were hanging out at, for the record. Nice. Yeah.
His house is like, reminds me of a sportsman's lodge, but like you also live there. Yeah. Like he has and you walk, his house is also like a maze. I don't know what's where, but it's like there's upstairs, downstairs,
split levels.
Through the kitchen, there's like a door that goes to this huge back area, and then there's a living room I didn't even know existed. But you walk out to like, it's not a garage, it's another area of the house, and he's got hunting clothes, every size, every color, every just tons of it hung up.
Turkey calls, cigars,
Yeah.
gun safe.
Nice.
Walks right outside of the fire pit. The craziest part about that house, and this is wild because this happened right after I saw you at that show. So a number of years ago, so the way that house is located in Columbia, the street kind of does a 90-degree turn, and there was a high-speed chase, and the guy that was being chased didn't turn, and straight up Dukes of Hazzard on the roof of their house. Yeah. So they put a fence up there since or whatever. Well, I played the New Year's Eve show in Georgetown in my neighborhood at the Putting the Country and Country Club.
Yeah.
Founding member of Wedgefield now.
Hell yeah.
And so played that. Well, I went in there to sound check and set up, and this guy walks in, and he's like, "Hey, man, are tickets sold out?" Because they had capped them online. And the guy that owns the place was like, "No, man, you're welcome to come in." Well, I didn't know this guy, but we have a bunch of mutual friends. Come to find out, his parents live across the street from Steve. And he was telling me the same story. He's like, "Man, I remember years ago." I was like,
That's
it's
crazy.
like car on the roof, yeah.
Jeez.
So anyway, Steve's a legend, and we have a new song coming out next Friday.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Country song, the one you're talking about.
Oh, that one's coming out.
Yeah, that one's
Country
coming
song.
out. Yeah,
It's a great
man.
song.
I was waiting on. We wanted to make sure it was right, and then around the holidays is the worst time to get anything done
Sure.
in Nashville or anywhere else in any line of work nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I want to make sure we had enough lead time on it. Got all the tweaking done, all the mastering, and all that stuff's good. So excited about that. And then I'm going back up there March 12th to cut the next one.
Nice. We'll close this episode out with that song so people can hear it.
Yeah, you got a copy of it?
No, but I will.
I can
write
airdrop
down.
it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the mastered file.
I think I do. I think you sent it to me. Do you know you didn't send me the finalized one?
Yeah, it's not the final one.
Yeah.
And then we did just write a new song called Mexican Bar last week. It's based on a duck hunting trip. Yeah. My best friend, not my duck hunt trip, unfortunately, but my best friend and the guy he used to work for, Colby Williams, they're both at the head of their game. I need to get them on y'all's podcast too.
Yeah.
In the retrieving world. They took a trip to Oklahoma 2 years ago, and he called me. I was like, "Man, how's it going?" He said, "Dude, we overnighted in Mississippi, and there wasn't anything except for a hotel and a Mexican restaurant in this little town. They were in the same parking lot."
Yeah.
He's like, "We were the only two in there. We drank so much beer that we drank them out of frosted mugs. And they were serving us beer in margarita glasses."
Wow.
And so when we got off the phone, it was like
Who is this?
my best friend, Oliver Berman,
Okay.
with Foundation Retrievers
Yeah,
in the
okay,
upstate of
okay.
South Carolina.
All right.
And it was like, I got off the phone, I just had this drunk at a Mexican bar, like boom,
Yeah.
like a bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
And I sat on it for a while, and Joe and I wrote it the other night, man. It turns out good. It's one of those, like, you don't have to be a duck hunter to like the song, but everybody can relate to getting, it hits different when you're drinking margaritas or beer out of
100%.
margarita glasses and
That's the kind of party I'm trying to go to.
shut down a
Beer out of
Mexican
margarita
restaurant.
glasses.
Yeah. So that we might cut that one this year. I don't know. I like it a lot.
Yeah. How long is the process from writing a song to putting it out? It's pretty far, I think.
As fast as we could cut that one relatively quickly if you wanted to. I think with us, we try to have a plan. So I like to have them on deck, like to be actively working on something and writing for the next thing.
Yeah.
You hear comedians talk about coming up with a joke and working it with a crowd and tweaking it. Do you do that with songs?
100%. Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot of that too is feedback off
Okay.
of, like, the next song we're going to do is probably Younger Man. And I'm torn now too, man, because like we've dropped an album, we dropped 2 EPs. We really haven't dropped a whole lot of singles. This one will be one of the first singles minus the Tiger song.
Yeah.
But what do you do? It's kind of like in today's world,
Yeah.
you hear a different answer for no matter who you ask,
Yeah.
So I think that it's always good to be writing towards a project, but at the same time, I've got a list of hooks and ideas that I haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
So they seem to be coming together pretty quickly.
Is that another thing too with like creative minds? Because like I have a folder in my phone of like reel or video ideas.
Yeah.
But the problem is I'm all excited about it when usually I'm drinking and I'm like, that's a fucking great idea. And I write it down and then later I'll read it and just kind of, I don't have time to write this out right now, how I actually want to do it. And they just sit there. So I got a bunch of great ideas. It's the same thing. Like you got a bunch of great ideas and hooks that just sit there and wait until you have time to go through it.
They do, or if I find the inspiration.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to where now like I'm forcing myself to get better by acting on that.
Yeah.
Because I'll have an idea or something. It's usually when you wake up in the morning for me or in the shower. I write songs in the shower.
Yeah.
But I'm screwed up though because I think in video. I mean, you and I've talked about this. So Even though I might have a song of mine, I can have a music video out before I write the song on something, or a reel or whatever else. So
yeah, how can I put this onto visual as opposed to just at a
I don't
show?
think most songwriters are that way. I'm just flawed by nature.
I think most people aren't that way, but like once you get into the photo video thing, it's just you see everything through that light.
Yep.
I've even found, back in the day, you'd see people talking about like Hollywood, and as they're walking around, they're doing that with their fingers, like making the little box to like frame shots.
Interesting. Yeah.
I've done that before, just like walking in, like how am I going to paint this wall or what frame? Just looking at how it would look on video because I could process it better. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I haven't done that only because I try to do as little video as I possibly have to.
Yeah.
It's mainly on my.
Well, you're a content creator now, so you have to.
Dude, it's funny. People were like, "Who's doing your stuff for you?" I was like, "Minus the really awesome turkey pattern video I did. That was not me. That was all Matt." It's just I'm just the one editing. My buddy Shane Green with Breaking Daylight and Sumter is the brains behind the stuff. You see the stuff on TikTok I've been putting out? I hate TikTok.
I lost my access to TikTok, and I haven't tried to get it back.
I'm surprised I didn't yesterday because I put up the bumper sticker.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So I told the guy who was just here. I was like, yeah, you see this scribble across my hat? I was like, what? You can't read it, but what it says.
Yeah, it
Ain't no pussies in the Hall of Fame, and he thought that was hilarious. He was like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Andrew Beam. He'll be here in a minute."
And then I walked in the door, and he was completely underwhelmed. He's like, "I figured you'd be taller and have longer hair."
Yeah.
It does look like a design on your hat, though.
Does it? I can't.
Yeah,
see
from
it.
a distance, it's pretty cool. I can't write for crap anyway. Clearly, nobody can read anything.
Well, we did it for the video, for the Mad Labs video, right? Is that who's filming? Mad Labs? Who was filming at Isle of Palms?
Yes,
It was Mad Labs, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. We got the EPK out now, so
Yeah, I watched it.
they'll be here at SEWE. They're filming.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Cool.
they just got their Jeep back. It's pretty sick.
I actually follow along with them more than you would think that I would. I'm into this stuff, like so a lot of stuff, like on our Instagram, like the Whiskey and Whitetails Instagram page. A lot of the recommended content is a lot of filming stuff because I think it's interesting. But I love product filming because they'll take like a brownie, like a glass brownie jar or baking pan, and they'll fill it with water and put a light underneath it, and then put the product in the water and then blow it with a fan with a hair dryer, and then you zoom in real close, and it's this beautifully lit product inside waves, and you're
crazy.
Like, how are they doing this? But there's a new lens that just came out. I can't remember the name of the brand. It's really weird, but if you take a regular DSLR camera with the that big opening for the lens, and it's about this long, and it scopes down into, it's small enough to sit inside of like a roll of electrical tape. That's how small the lens is, and it has lights on it, and it's waterproof, so you could stick it into water and film stuff. That's what it was, I think, invented for. But what people use it for is those crazy, like fake drone shots where it comes in through a window and out a door. So they'll have stuff set up. Like I thought about it with saddle hunting. Like you have a platform set up and you have a slider and you bring it in through the platform and then look at the saddle on the other side. It's like I have all these ideas and I know I can rent the lens for $170. I'm thinking about, I've already been doing it. I've just been writing down all my ideas to use this lens for, and I'm going to rent it and use it for 3 or 4 days and film all kinds of stuff.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I
But
heard
like
of that.
the technology stuff that today with lenses is nuts. I don't even know why we're talking about this. We're talking about
When you hodge on the show for this one, 'cause have you seen, dude? He's sending me the giraffes for Joey with Tecton duck calls.
Yeah,
for his, like, I don't know if you'd call it an EPK, but his introduction video, man, it's awesome.
that's dope.
Yeah, Hodge is just that dude.
I need to.
I would like to just see what he sees for a day when you walk around.
Yeah, we have another kid too that he shoots a not a red, but it's the Sony version of it. So it's like a $20,000 camera, and he shoots it and he just makes content. But he's never been hunting, so he's like, "I'll trade you a hunting video if you take me hunting." He's like, "I don't even want to." I just like, "I'll film the whole thing." And I was like, "We got a turkey hunt coming in March 22nd. Like, let's go."
Heck yeah.
So he's gonna go with us and film the whole thing. But he's bringing like legit studio, great equipment. I mean, we have nice cameras, but we don't have $20,000 cameras.
Yeah.
But it's like, I wonder what but he's going to make it and do it all. Because normally we film everything ourselves, but yeah, just something about it. And it's like the cinematic aspect. And I bet it's even great for bringing people out to shows and filming stuff.
Oh, yeah. And I wish we had that in our budget. I was looking over just business wise the day, and man, there's just no return on media.
There isn't.
And
if
you
it
gotta
gets,
have it, but at the same time, you look at a lot of guys that are even, I mean, like not necessarily like huge stages right now, but at the level above where we are, they got full-time media guys. I know one of my good buddies in Nashville, Will Smith, man, he's from South Carolina. He's crushing it. He's moved there like 6-8 months ago. He's on the road with a couple different artists right now.
Yeah.
Tyler Halverson.
Is it the same thing with comedy? Like you just got to be around him and they take you on the road with them?
Man, I guess, and probably with him, but he's young enough too to where he's, hey man,
it's hard to
shoot some
that.
stuff for you. Next thing you know, you fall into people paying you to do it. So
Right.
I wish we had more of that. But yeah, so for right now though, back to the whole, I think everybody's like, get on TikTok, and I dodged it for so long, but I started it probably like 3 weeks ago. I mean, I've had it, but I just haven't like been doing it. My buddy Shane Green, man, I don't know if you've seen it where we got him like calling on a Zen can.
Yeah, I did.
I pulled the audio. I'm posting it to Instagram too, but my thought in doing
I put it in
so,
our story. I thought it was funny.
You saw where the guy was trolling me, right? How terrible I am at singing. I need to take up a trade like welding or something. You should not cut out for the music industry. Like, and the first couple of videos, just like Instagram will get like 60 views. So I'm like, how the heck this guy didn't even follow me? See this?
Yeah.
His name's Bobby, and his picture's like a frog. So everybody immediately started jumping onto him, and then like I put up a video or something. I was like, more shows on the way and new songs for Bobby. But then the one that took off was the one, and again, this has nothing to do with my music. Hopefully we can steer it that direction. Like I got a sticker on the back of a turtle box in it. But Shane's talking like an old guy at duck camp. And that thing just like boomed, you know? So, but my thought on the TikTok side of things is completely satire. I'm just going to troll how everybody's dropping stuff in my industry. Like I'm going to go out to the wedge and act like I'm singing a song, and I'll probably even like clip it wrong to where my like mouth doesn't even match the audio. And I'm just gonna walk around and be like, so this is how you drop music nowadays. I might find a gator or something to like play in front of. And zoom in on it, but then keep my Instagram the serious branding aspect of it.
Sure.
If we want to do gator, now's the time. They're gonna start coming out here in the next couple weeks, and they have no energy. You can literally walk up to them right now, like when they start coming out.
Right.
So if you're gonna do that, now's the time to do it.
That would be kind of funny, but yeah, that's my plan.
That would be sick
for the
to be out there
socials this year
with a stage set up, and then you zoom, and it's like you're only singing to an alligator. That's fucking funny.
I should play like some Jerry Reed in front of the gator.
It'd just be really funny. You should play what's the on the alligator swamp.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, same
Amos Moses.
Amos Moses. Yeah, you should definitely do that. That'd be funny.
So that's my plan. But yeah, so we got like I said, the new song coming out next week, and then make some more trips to Nashville, and then on top of that, man, we got 2 music festivals in April here in Charleston. Actually, one is the Charleston Country Music Fest, which is April 14th, Master Sunday, and I don't know what the rest of the lineup is. And then we've got April 27th is going to be the Low Country Music Festival. It was at Hanahan Amphitheater. Both of those are full bands, so mark them down.
Okay.
And things are starting to fill up too, schedule wise.
You should send me stuff like this. The only reason I don't go is like I find out too late.
Yeah, man, that's
because I love seeing you play.
It's my struggle with Charleston, man. Like we played the Windjammer show, and nobody knew about it, and I don't know how to curb that. You know, like at first you take it personally because you're man, nobody buys tickets for anymore.
You put dates out all the time. It's my fucking fault. So it's
well, no, a lot of people like I can show you, man, how to not that we have a huge following, but if you go look at a story, 70 people see it.
Well,
out of our entire following. It's like
there's something going on with Instagram right now. Like we live in the world of 800 to 1,200 story views. I haven't seen that in probably 2 months.
Yeah,
we're just not seeing it.
And it's everybody. It's not just us. But it is strange though how, and I think it's the Charleston thing. It knows that either we spend a lot of time here, or that's where an original core fan base was. There's probably for both reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not nothing.
He has a theory because we were shadow banned for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, I posted a gun
pretty
reel.
hard too, really hard.
Really hard. I mean, we're talking like
2 views.
Bad. It wasn't that bad. Again, I can usually post it and get to 500 within a couple seconds, but over 1,000, like it'll get stagnant. And so we went to the Great American Outdoor Show. All of a sudden, we start getting traction, and he has a theory that because we're around other phones that run Instagram pages, and it's like, oh, these guys are actually legit, or we're at this place where other people are doing stuff. So it makes me wonder if going to shows and posting content at shows, like just stuff that doesn't have nothing to do with the show, just being there in person and posting, it makes me wonder if the algorithm would pick it up and be like, well, this is clearly has something to do with all these people being in, because they track us, they know where we all are, and I know that the Instagram algorithm is smart enough to be like, well, this guy lives out in this part of James Island where there is nothing, so he's posting stuff from this place, and there's nothing going on. So it's not gonna. But if you were to go to SHOT Show and film something, because you'll see shows, we have friends that
have pages with no followers. They'll film something quick at an event, post it that night, 16,000 views, and it's like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a good thought. I don't know if that's legit or not, but it's something to think about.
I also think that certain brands pay money to these platforms to alter. I think the bigger brands, not Meta, or Facebook or Instagram. I think these big brands control the narrative. I think they're
Jim Beam or Jack Daniels
100%.
and y'all's lane.
I think they're cutting checks to these social media brands to say, hey, we'd like the algorithm to focus a little bit more on this.
Be more in our favor.
Well, and I think it's the same thing. I was going exactly there with in my lane of social media is that I think that at this point, hopefully anyway, but I think it recognizes us as an established music entity.
Sure.
So just like
Established, bro. You're opening for Ian Munsick tonight.
there we go. There we go.
That's pretty fucking established.
I'm bona fide.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you get people at a gas station, they're like, they come up to you and they're asking questions like, your team or this. And I say we a lot because I don't like,
Same.
the whole thing being Andrew Beam. There's a lot that I do in house, but I think there's more to it than that, obviously. I would love to have a legitimate team at some point in time. But
I'm part of your team, so you're at least plus one.
Yeah. So I think the Instagram puts us in that category, though, which is, that's cool until you're up against Big Machine Records or Sony. And they have people that 100% can make a phone call.
Yeah.
To say, hey, like if I got signed tomorrow by one of those guys, they could blow my stuff up. Everything that I've been trying to push for years, Selma by Sundown takes off.
In a week.
Because the phone call and the button was pushed. So
It
that's
also
a
makes
real
you
thing.
wonder if they're pushing people down because they're like, listen, if they're not from
Competition.
this big record name,
Yes.
then don't promote them.
Absolutely.
100%.
And then you write something crazy like, I can't remember that dude's name, but he wrote
Richmond,
that.
north of Richmond.
Yeah, so you write something like that, and then Joe Rogan picks it up, and it just everybody wants.
There are those anomalies that naturally go viral.
That
and then,
never happens though. Is the thing.
Right, and it's cool that he, was the one that came, got into that crack.
He also squandered that opportunity.
100%. Well, but look at how he got there too, man. Radio West Virginia is not a small video entity. Yeah. They post a lot of people in a lot of places.
I looked into that because they made it sound like Radio West Virginia was a small little,
no, they're big
little media thing, and I got to look into it. I was like, that's a big production.
And they've had a bunch of big artists that are big now, especially that were on there. Sam Barber, Charles Wesley Godwin, like all those guys were on their way before him.
You think he's a psyop?
No,
well, I don't think
he has that capacity.
I think they controlled the narrative to push that small town small production.
It's a good story.
It is.
You have a guy that's down on his luck and all this stuff, so on and so forth, and then the song resonates with everyone. But it's also like, this is a great question for you. When you're writing songs, because like for us, for reels, right? I could, if I wanted to, start taking all, how I see viral reels go off. For instance, the Chiefs game where the Taylor Swift's boyfriend was yelling at the Chiefs coach. Yeah. I saw 5,000 of those yesterday. Yeah. I could have also made one. We choose not to stoop to that level. Like, I don't make content that's super easy. Like, it's all organic stuff that I kind of think of. But it's like, do you see that as a country music artist where you could go in there and be like, my dog got ran over by my truck and my wife shot my kid? You could stoop to that level, but you choose not to? Or is there part of you where like, I'll do it to make a good song?
I think you got to have commercial appeal. We've done it both ways.
Yeah.
Proof in the song coming out next week that's called Country Song.
Right.
and I say that as a joke, meaning that song has got mad commercial appeal, but the way that we wrote it,
you
it's
wrote
not
it different.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Now it's got a dog, and my hound dog's the one that influenced the song, man. You can't make that up. Right. The hound dog literally found us, showed up at the house, and she's like the best thing ever. That's cool. But that's how that song was written. And Matt and Brittany and Caitlin and I were on a mountain trip, and I woke up one morning and was drinking a cup of coffee, man, and I was like, I got a good dog, a great woman. Damn, it sounds like a country song. And I was like, that's as cliched as it gets, but I wrote it down because I know exactly. We could have set out to
you could have
like
tried to do it. Or if it happens organically, it's different.
Yeah, it was kind of organic, and it's the only one I've written in Nashville, which, again, I like Nashville, don't get me wrong. But
I know you do.
We're still, I won't say I'm anti-Nashville, but I go there and do my thing, and
you get out.
Go back to doing what we do at Beam Country, which is hit the road and shake hands with real people. And but there's a lot of great artists and great music there. There's a lot of crap like we're talking about too. That's just straight commercial fluff.
Yeah.
Craig Campbell put out a great video the other day talking about TikTok artists. I don't know if you saw that or not, but he's like, man, he plays himself like the buddy calling the record producer, and he's like, man, we just signed this guy. Man, I think he's really great. And he goes back to Craig and he's like, well, does he have anything I can hear? He's like, no, man, he's actually never played a show in his life. And like it goes back, you see where it's going, but no, man, Joe and I talk about that a lot, honestly. The Drunk in a Mexican Bar song.
Yeah.
It's super catchy. If I played it right now, you'd be like, I don't have this in my head all day long. And it's a dumb song, but we always strive to have a deeper meaning than that. Right. Even the No Moss Margarita song that my dad wrote, that's a deep song if you actually look at it. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows it's out there because we can't get anything out because of the algorithm. But one day when it takes off, do yourselves a favor, do my dad a favor and check out what he wrote. It's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I think there's a lot to be said about that. You have to, from a business aspect, you have to look at the trends.
Yeah.
So there's no getting around that. But I think that the key in all this, and this is what Joe Taylor taught me, is be timeless. Whatever you do, whatever you make, like pay attention to what's going on, but stay true to who you are and write stuff or produce stuff that is going to be cool 20 years from now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you think, go listen to an Alan Jackson song. I thought about that today, man. I was like, there's all these songs. Like the thing in Nashville now is all these double meanings, play on words. I write them. Hell, we all do. Go look at Alan Jackson's catalog. Living on Love.
Yeah, Living on Love's a great
Chattahoochee.
Yeah.
Just like, it's all timeless. It's just straight to the point.
Yeah.
It's real. Not saying he doesn't have songs that do have double meanings, but it's just cool, man. That's the beauty of being in.
Do you have a favorite Alan Jackson song?
Man, I think it changes a lot. That one he's got called Home is awesome. Like one of his first radio hits. Check it out. Yeah. He wrote it about his family.
Yeah. I hear a lot of, because I listen to a lot of country music, but there's certain songs like I hear, especially like the Army side of me, when I hear like there are songs, like for instance, the American Soldier song. I was cooking dinner last night, came on, and I literally was like, nope, fuck you, next song. Like it gives me feelings, and I didn't feel like feeling. But then there's songs like I had it in my head before I said this, but he's like wearing army green. And it's like, all right.
Oh, Riley Green.
Yeah, and it's like
different around here.
It's like, all right, man. but it tugs at the patriot, right?
Right.
So it gets it, and I'm not his target audience, and I'm also very judgmental on a lot of stuff.
I like his stuff though.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
definitely not trashing. It's just like,
yeah, I'm with you.
Throwing that in there, like
it's not as deep as American Soldier, no doubt.
Right? Yeah.
Or Letters from Home, and I wasn't military, but like even that stuff just like fires me up. Man.
There's a few of them, man. The reason why that one gets me is because in basic training they played that song. We didn't get to listen to music, so they played this song during basic training. And they had every drill sergeant there that had trained a soldier that had died at war. They had their picture up, so they played this song, and every single drill sergeant up there crying. And these guys are like, they're drill sergeants, dude. They've been yelling at me for 4 weeks or whatever, however long I'd been there at that point. And they put it, and you see emotion in there. And then you are like, I remember one private stood up and was like, sir, went to salute him, and they ripped his head off. They went right back to like, what are you talking about? I didn't kill him. He killed himself, or whatever happened. And he didn't kill himself, obviously, but the enemy got him. He's, the whole don't think me, think you're a recruiter. Like, don't think a drill sergeant. And so all that stuff, it's just, I don't know. So when I hear that song, there's like a ton of emotions. One, I was super proud at the time to be a soldier. Two, like, it was actually tear-jerking to see how many. It's unbelievable. You got 10 drill sergeants. Think about how many people, how many kids they've pushed through, and then the death toll in Afghanistan, Iraq, and then, it's just like. So when I hear the song, I don't really think too much about. I don't know what I think about, but it's like in Jurassic Park when the water thing moves, and there was a guitar string under there. Is how they did it. It's like that. I think that guitar string when it hits a certain chord, my heart shakes, and it's just like. Game over. I can't deal with it. I gotta turn it off.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Music will do that to you.
Yeah, then that's the goal right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're really good at it, dude. Like,
I appreciate that.
I love listening to you play, and you've been. This is what, the third time you've been on?
I think so.
Is this the best setup so far?
It is.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. Thank you to Jasper Charleston for letting us visit.
Yeah. I played out here a couple times too.
Yeah, I know you did.
Shout out Chamberlain. Thank you.
Yeah, Chamberlain. Yeah, everybody that works here good. Works here good.
Yeah, and I'll be down at Kiel. Thanks to Taylor.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
We should do something together at Kiowa for sure.
That would be an awesome spot to do.
I don't know why we haven't done something together already.
Because I'm never here.
Whatever happened.
It'd also be an expensive event to hire you, us, and food. Dude, we're talking $250, $300 a ticket. I bet we could sell it though.
When country song becomes the number
1,000%.
one, we got it.
Yeah.
We just need one song to break stratosphere and the rest of the catalog.
We do another thing like we did with the whiskey, and we do the dinner as an after party with.
That would be cool to do a whiskey class, and then I bring a bunch of drunk people to your show.
That always helps.
Yes,
Always.
That's the best.
Yeah, I was playing in Statesboro, speaking of drunk people, Georgia, last Friday night, and it was actually a really good time. Ironically, where this conversation went, the only time I've ever been to Statesboro prior to last Friday was at a Riley Green show, and I got roofied.
Hell yeah.
Not a good time. We won't even talk about that, but I had a much better experience last Friday, and there was a guy that, Toby Keith obviously passed away, and so he's got a hell of a catalog too, man, but
Oh yeah,
everybody wanted me to play Toby Keith, and I
Yeah,
go pretty
sure.
deep on that repertoire too, because I've got to give many songs of his I can pull out at a solo show. And this guy's like, "Man, play American Soldier." And I was like, "That's one of them I don't play, man." I was like,
do
but I heard it on the way down there, and I was like, "God, what a great song!"
Yeah, I can't do it.
And that guy, he was like, "Man, I'm not military, but my dad was," and he's just like, that song just
There's some songs that
resonates.
just-
It's crazy you brought that up.
like somebody else singing it is like almost sacrilegious. It's like
Yeah.
he wrote a lot of great
not-
songs.
For me, it wouldn't be that. For me, it'd be like if you want to trigger a veteran, that's
Yeah.
the easiest way to do it. Play that song.
So
Play.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
played
it-
courtedy of the Red, White, and Blue. That's a lot safer.
That's a good one. That's a good
I thought
one.
about doing that tonight. I don't know.
But could you imagine?
It would blow. It would
Yeah,
explode.
man, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Are there yonder bags or people can film tonight?
Do I know?
Can people have their phones in tonight?
I have no idea.
If they can, you should 100% play.
Well, and a lot of the problem is like it's a week too late because now everybody's done a tribute to Toby Keith. But I play that song.
that. Yeah, but not everybody
anyway.
at your show.
This is true. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see where it leads. It's a 30-minute opener set, and I don't ever have a set list for my solo stuff. So I'm just gonna play all new stuff probably.
What were you gonna say? I got
Yeah, my bad. I mean, cut you off.
Yeah, we both did.
I don't care anymore. I'm not going to say it. No, I was just going to say, like, could you imagine somebody else seeing Garth Brooks Rodeo?
Brooks Jefferson sounds a lot like him.
Or
Where are the bodies, Garth?
You know,
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
no idea.
So there's a guy that's, and I don't know this cat, I just from the sidelines has made his own career. His name is Brooks Jefferson.
Okay.
Check it out. Most of the Garth Brooks songs that you think you're hearing on YouTube or Spotify is not Garth.
No shit, really?
Because he doesn't
He's
distribute.
not on Spotify.
He only sells his CDs at like a Bass Pro Shops.
What an idiot.
Like one Bass Pro.
Well, he's making a killing,
where the
and he's got
bodies
a bunch
are
of dead
buried.
people. In
He's
his
doing a
basement.
lot of
That's
killing.
where
You
the
see
bodies
where-
are buried.
You
Yeah.
see where Whiskey Riff did that poll in Nashville? They walked around and were like,
Asking people?
Yeah, did you see it?
Do you know what that's from?
I saw that there's a documentary. I
No.
assume.
So it's called Your Mom's House Podcast. It's Tom Segura and his wife.
Yeah.
And all they do is talk, because people said that Tom Segura looks like Garth Brooks. And so all they do is talk shit. And they're like, Garth Brooks looks like me if I had people in the basement. So now if Garth Brooks posts anything,
Oh, I've seen all the comments.
it's unreal. If you've never seen it, go pull up your phone right now, go to Garth Brooks Instagram and click any post that has comments enabled. And all you'll see is shit that doesn't make sense. But most of it's like, where's the bodies, the survivors, the families,
the
need to
deserved
know.
closure.
Yeah, it's
And you know what's funny
it's
is that
wild that a podcast did that to Garth Brooks.
it would all end if he would just have a laugh about it and,
Yeah.
and agree to be a guest on their
If
podcast.
he would just go on the show
it
and
would
be
stop.
like, "It's been fun, we can stop now," and like that, it would be done. But he refuses to do it, and it's like you hear stories of people that work for him and they have him on the podcast, and are like, "Yeah, I'm not even going to say my name or whatever," but just so you know, he's aware, and it pisses him off, and so it drives it. It makes it worse because everybody knows they're getting to him. It's wild.
Have you
Dude.
seen his documentary?
We should do that. No.
Okay. I assume that, and I promise you that's probably where Segura got the idea
really?
for that. I was all excited. I mean,
Well, he's just weird. He's like Studio G. And he
Right.
like smiles funny.
it's because I think he's a sociopath. He's
He's
one
something-
hell of an entertainer.
There's something wrong with him for sure.
Well, watch the documentary. Caitlin couldn't make it through the first episode.
Really?
And we were watching because I was excited. I like Garth's songs. I don't necessarily care for him because
He's a weird dude, man.
Well, it's also like, and again, I'm not getting anybody's personal crap, but he sings all these sweet songs about, having this one lady in his life, and he freaking
he's had
cheated
1,000.
on his
Yeah.
first wife. So it's like, come on, man. I'm not digging that. But that's entertainer and songs.
and
I
the
love
thunder
it.
rolls.
Yeah. So, but watching that thing, he goes from like Sybil Brooks, man. Like he goes
Yeah.
from super happy to like crying in like 30 seconds. And then he's like, he's sitting in a chair, turn around. The chair's turned around backwards, and his fitted hat is turned around backwards. And he's just like got this gaze at the camera the whole time he talks. So you're right, Studio G. And then the whole Chris Gaines thing comes out. And it's like, man, this guy, again, great entertainer.
He's weird,
100% full of gar. So that's why he gets upset about the comments.
100%.
And then you saw where his bar opened. He made a comment about
this is great.
Bud Light or something, and he's like, I'm still serving it. If you all want to be assholes, you can go anywhere else. In Nashville, 12 people showed up to his
Yeah, I bet they did.
And then he wanted to go to some, I heard this recently because, matter of fact, the game warden that trained me, Ben Whaley, called me. He's like, what did Garth Brooks do to piss everybody off? And like, Ben doesn't have social media, so he doesn't, he doesn't know any of that. And
you're not gonna believe this, but he drank a beer.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I don't know, man. I think it's just like a totality of circumstances kind of thing. But he tried to go on a tribute show for Toby Keith or something, and they, I guess, shut it down, didn't let him or something, and he got all butthurt or whatnot. I don't know, Garth.
I don't know him either, but I can tell you, like, listening to that podcast, I mean, I don't listen to it anymore. They kind of lost their way. They're not that funny anymore, and I said it, but it's like watching all this unfold. It's really ruined my opinion of Garth.
Well,
because he's not funny. He can't take a joke.
I'm telling you, the documentary will explain everything.
I'll watch a documentary.
He's up there by himself, like at some mountaintop. And he's like, this is where I go to get my inspiration. Which is fine. I get that. That's 100%
that's some
cool.
Garth shit to say it out loud.
But like the way he does it, it's not like if Eric Church is like, man, I'm in Banner Elk, and like we come up here and freaking drank our face off and turn this church into a studio, and this is how we did it. It wasn't like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
This was more like, I looked at Caitlin literally and said, I don't think I want to be alone in the same room as this guy, much less drink a beer with him.
And that's before you knew any of this, because I just told you.
Well, that hadn't even happened yet. So when I saw the first comments from Whiskey Riff, which I like Whiskey Riff a lot, I don't know them directly, but they've sent some stuff. They communicated a little bit back and forth.
They posted something with you, didn't they?
Yeah, they've collaborated with us, which is really cool. And I know they get bombarded with stuff, but I like where their vision's going on things. But they're the ones I first thought was like, it was actually an article posted because Garth was pissed and was like demanding it being shut down, and people just trolled it, like you said, even more. So
when he gets mad, it just makes it worse. If he ain't figured that out yet,
he hasn't figured it. I don't think he's going to. It's so crazy that social media has become the thing that it is today. Like, you would have never guessed. It's almost like you live and die by it, and like, you have to have it. It's the only way you get clout anymore. Like, you can have a huge company if you don't have a big social media following. Like, nobody.
But you still would think at some point, because everybody knows it's smoke and mirrors for exactly what you and I are talking about. That at what point does it not matter? Because I can show you right now, some of them I know and they're great people, and they won't ever give you a straight answer. I can tell you right now, several musicians that have 200,000 followers. Dude, I played shows with them or seen shows. They ain't selling no more tickets than we are.
Yeah.
And I got 5,000, man. 5,400.
Yeah, you can buy most of those follows.
Well, and if you look at their numbers, some of them are like, they'll have like one video has like 6 million, but then most videos have got like 2,000, which is the same amount of views we get. So anyway, there's obviously somebody working their stuff. Kudos to them if it's helping them. Like, I'm not knocking that, but it's so strange to me, to the original point, is at what point does it just become null? Because it's like, seeing's not believing, man. Like, whatever.
The problem is most people are not, and it blows my mind. I thought everyone knew this, and I talk to people all the time, and they're like, well, this is a big count, dude. They got 60,000 followers. I'm like, let me check them out. And I go look, and you click, views, and they have 600 views on a video. We have 14,000 followers. You'll never see under 1,000. It just won't happen. And that's with 14,000. So if you had 60,000, that you would imagine that'd be triple.
Or 200.
Yeah. You'd have a ton. So yeah, that's the thing. You see 200,000, and if you don't have millions of views on every video, like, you're full of shit.
Or ticket sales. Like, look at,
I don't know that everybody sees ticket sales.
But I'm saying, like, it's hard. I can only imagine being a promoter. I get frustrated because we can't get booked places, which, don't get me wrong, like, I've never
because promoters lose their ass on small people. So you're not small, you're bigger than that, but you're still not.
Oh, we're not going to sell tickets that somebody else that has bigger, like, they're going to go with a sure thing.
Right.
Understandable. Yeah. But it's very hard for somebody in our position that we know we got the goods. It's just we don't,
The problem is you put on such a fucking good show, man. Such a good show. You live is like, I'm telling you, we've met a lot of people that sing and stuff, and as far as artists go, the passion that you have in it and the way you work the crowd,
Here's the
You
thing.
just have fun. You go up there and you
Yeah.
do, like, you never come, like, I went to see Tool was one of my favorite bands when I was a kid growing up. Went to a Tool show. I left so disappointed. Like they came up off the back of the stage. They played. They never said anything to the crowd. And then it was done. They hopped off the back of the stage and they left. There was no waving. And I was so upset. But he's like, well, the music means a lot to him, so he's not super social. He's putting his heart and passion into it, and it's just a PR stunt. Fuck them. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But like, you actually go up there and put on a show. I mean, like, I don't know. I love seeing you live, and it's such a good energy, and just the people that, like, your supporters are so loyal. I don't know.
Well, I love doing it, man, and that's the thing is that we have to make it because it's the only dang thing that I'm good at that potentially has a
At
solid
And
future.
I'm letting you wear that shirt in here in front of me.
At another the shirt.
do you not like Cameron Hayes?
We can get to that in a minute. At another point in my life, I spent a lot of time doing professional sound and audio and working in clubs and
DJ Theory.
music venues, things like that. There are generally people fall into one or two categories. They're either a great artist or they're a great entertainer. They're not usually both, right? And you've found your spot clearly in the middle where you're able to write your own music and be an artist, but also entertain people. And I think a lot of times, especially in I guess in any music industry, you have people who are really good artists, and a lot of times they end up getting stuck just writing music because they can't entertain people. They can't keep people engaged. But you do both, and you do it really well. So
the other thing about like all these shows you go to, and like sometimes the guys singing is, if arrogance is a level of 0 to 100, they're at 100. Like they think they're hot shit, and they act that way. And like for you, when you throw a pick in the crowd, it's never like, I'm hot shit, someone's looking forward to this. It's like, it's just part of your thing. Like you just throw a pick in the crowd, and you threw one right at me, and I was like a little schoolgirl. I still have it. I still like it's
Almost got it on video. It barely missed.
yeah. But it's like you play the role well. I don't know. I think you're bound for greatness.
Well, I greatly appreciate it, man, and just keep on spreading the word. And man, I think it's just all about surrounding yourself with good people. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I don't know, man. I'm not a funny person by nature. I'm definitely not a comedian. I have friends of mine that just have, you know what I mean? There's just some people who, no matter what they say, do, anytime you hang out with them, you know, like, you're just going to laugh till you hurt.
Yeah.
I don't have that, but with the guitar in my hands, maybe it's because I'm a preacher's kid, man, and my dad is one heck of a preacher and a much better public speaker than I am. But it's crazy how I go watch him, and I unfortunately, he's in North Carolina, so I don't get to go there as often as I'd like, but I watch him preach, man, and it's just like, oh my gosh. So I think maybe a little bit of that got, you know, as far as the ability, and what I'm getting at with that is I'm not preaching to the country music crowd here, but the ability for him to grab an audience and establish common ground. And because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, people put preachers on a pedestal. My dad is, we're very much alike.
So I had to
he's just a normal guy.
I had to take a public speaking class in college. It was just for business.
Yep.
And one of our assignments was we had to go to a church, and we had to watch a preacher and take notes and come back and talk about, because of how, not all of them, but how well a lot of them engage and connect with, you know, how they move their hands, how they, you know, the emotion that they show. Like it's, if you grew up doing that and watching that and being surrounded by that, it's no wonder that you do it naturally on stage.
And I think it's innate too, because I can tell you my dad's exactly the same way on the pulpit and off. And me, I mean, you've hung out with me enough to know too. I'm contrary to critical belief of people passing me on the highway or hearing my twang. That's just who I am, man.
Yeah.
And what you see on stage, especially when it's me and a guitar, I mean, the band is like way better than me, clearly. But when you have that time, because usually when I throw picks, I screw up and hit my mic stand or it deflects off something. So that's why I'm not an arrogant singer at all. But yeah, man, I think there's a lot to be said about the country genre too. You were not wrong in saying that. Rock or anything else, not take away from the performance, but with country music, man, I would argue that people probably follow an artist as much because of their music as because of who they, I don't want to say appear to be, but who they are.
Yeah.
Like Alan Jackson, you're just like, man, that's just a good old dude. I don't know him, but I'd imagine that's what he's like, you know?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to be said about getting the crowd in there to where they feel like, man, he's just a normal guy right there singing about things I feel. I got a dog. I got a great one. Sounds to me like a country song.
The other thing too that you probably don't know about is like we'll call it fame. It is fame. Like your level of fame in the Southeast, I guess. It's funny. That's one of the reasons we love having you on. Not only because you're a good friend, but also it's just people we'll get people reach out and be like, it's so cool to listen to him play, and I never get to talk to him. Like I have no idea what kind of person he is, and then I hear him on the podcast, and it's like because we have a lot of local subscribers and listeners, and you know it gives you like an opportunity for people to, I don't know what I'm doing with my hand over here. It gives you a lot of people an opportunity to like kind of figure out who you are, listen to the podcast, because you can't talk to everybody that's in the crowd, you know. But it's like anyone comes to see you, they just know there's something. They just have this thing. I don't know what it is. It's tangible. You can touch it. Like you can feel it when you're on stage. And yeah, people they like the feedback, they like the content, they like listening to you talk. And so that's part of one reason we like having you on all the time. I'm repeating myself now, but point being, you do have like a local fame around the area.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Have a local Hall of Fame.
Local Hall of Fame. But it's cool because it's like we were talking earlier about everybody. To another guest that we had on is we're all like one person removed. Somebody knows this guy. Somebody like everybody he knew. He knows everybody you know, but y'all have never met. But it's just wild to have these connections out here. Just Charleston's a wild place, but the Southeast in general. So even going to Columbia, and it's like there's people in there that came to see you, and like you probably have no idea who they are. They're supporters of the music, and to me, I find that like humbling for us too, because like we see our, not so much the video, but the podcast download views, and it's like, who are all these people? Like I have no idea who's listening to me because nobody really reaches out because they don't have anything to complain about. But the moment we start getting controversial, we'll find out who our followers are. But it's like the same thing. So it's cool to just sit around with somebody and kind of talk and go through what it's like to be in this space and be in the entertaining business, and just it's truly passion. Like we don't have you on here because you're fake. I mean, who you are is who you are. You sing the way you talk. I mean, your accent's not fake. I mean, you say guitar like a
Guitar.
you say guitar, you know, and you know what I mean. But it's like a lot of country artists, they have this twang to them, and you listen to them talk, and they don't talk like that. It's all a show. It's all fake. Where you're actually like real.
Or they don't live like it. And that sounds bad saying that, but I mean, I never set out to be a country music singer, man. I thought I was going to be either a professional bass fisherman, which I was a little bit ahead of that curve because they didn't have high school bass fishing when I was around. When I got a boat, dude,
that's a wild thing as a kid to say you want to be.
But, dude, I was that kid. My grandpa and my dad both, man, got me into it from the time I could walk. And I think I was a Bassmaster member at like age 8.
Wow.
I would walk around elementary school with Bassmaster magazines in my backpack.
Dope.
When I got a boat in high school, I quit all sports to go fish. 'Cause I was like, man, I love, running cross country or playing golf or playing baseball or doing whatever. But I did both of those 2 different years.
You were a jock, huh?
I don't know, man. I like to think of just.
If only
I'm just Andrew Bean, man.
If only if you played football. And
there was the only reason I didn't play football. It's not because I'm 5'10" and 185 pounds, but
you got an inch on me.
it's the fact that in the mountains, ironically enough, my school didn't have football.
Really?
Yeah, so like off the mountain they did, but you'd had to have driven 45 minutes a day one way to go play.
Why was there no football on the mountain?
I don't know. There's not as many kids, I don't think.
Oh,
so like, yeah, if you look at it,
no one's going to drive 45 minutes to play you.
we played soccer. Like we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So we were just wrecking people because we didn't want to play soccer.
What's America's pastime?
Yeah.
Bunch of football players running around wrecking.
Yeah, so growing up, man, like
Should play rugby.
they dang sure didn't have that. Lacrosse came into the picture later too, and I wish they'd had that. But no, like growing up, man, from the time we were little, I mean, we were all my buddies. We were all 3-sport guys. Like we played soccer because we couldn't play football. We played basketball and baseball. And then I gravitated more towards baseball, went to a private school, started varsity freshman year of high school, and they just burnt me out on it, man. It was like playing so many of JV and varsity, and on top of going to the school. And I was always an academic guy, to be honest with you. Like, I wouldn't say jock. And I'm not smart. I just busted my tail on the academic side because for some reason I just knew that was what was going to get me somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's also the generation we grew up in. Was
100%. Yeah, which is why I hope I don't break down the side of the road because I'm going to be calling Ben Whaley to come talk me through how to fix something on my trailer. But no, there's a lot to be said in that. So
just take it off, put it back on. That's it.
You too. But I ended up getting out of that, and then I transferred high schools from the prep school in Georgia, which was like super ritzy high end, to Westside High School in Anderson, which was a 4 or 5A school. I think they just went to 5. It's 4A when I was there. And they dang sure had football. But coming into it as a sophomore, I missed spring practice. I didn't know anybody at the school, and I was
missed a full year of development.
Yeah,
too.
I was 135 pounds, man.
That's a big deal in 5A school, 4A school.
Yeah, so I just decided to like focus. I ran cross country that year. Decided to just kind of get into the groove of the new school. And by the time I graduated, man, all those cats, all my buddies were like all region football players, and they're like, "Dude, we playing weightlifting or something." That's when I started hitting the gym.
Hitting the gym
back then, and
never stopped filling out them jeans.
Yeah, man, Origin jeans.
Yeah, throw your code out for Origin.
Yeah, Beam 10, it should be working again soon. They had so many sales, which is a great thing. Not on my code, but overall, they had so many sales that their affiliate program wasn't able to keep up with it.
Oh yeah,
so it's temporarily down. I actually talked to him yesterday about this. So do you like yours? You got a pair, didn't you?
Yeah, I love them.
Cool. I think they changed them a little bit. My dad just got another pair, and they're a little bit bigger.
I have mine. I wish they were not as tight, but
so they're not any longer as tight. And I wish that they wouldn't have changed that because on stage, that's like they're not skinny jeans.
Well, if you wore a 36, I'd give you mine. I'd buy new ones.
I wear a 32 in these. They do run a little bit big.
You ain't gonna wear mine.
Yeah. So, but I started. Origin Main. Get the Delta 68s, Beam 10, or Jocko Fuel Beam 10.
Yeah, Origin 68s.
But yeah, so all my buddies, man, in high school were like, dude, you gotta come out, dude, like play football. The quarterback was like, dude, you can be my Wes Welker. Like, come on. And I was like, at that point, I really wanted to. I thought about it, and I was like, man, what am I gonna do this for 1 year to get freaking hurt? And I had pretty much a full ride to Clemson on academics. And I always played guitar this whole thing. So anyway, yeah, it's just kind of crazy, man. That's why I didn't play football growing up. I don't know how we got on this topic, but
I don't either.
I'm athletic. I'm fast. There we go. Sometimes you'll see that on stage when I fall.
How many times have you done that? Tripped on stage?
I haven't fallen down completely. Usually I catch myself on a real note. Like, I'm pretty good at finding my guitar stands on stage because I move around a lot. You've seen that. And I don't have a wireless pack because it's just more batteries and crap. When we have the point in time where we have the team to where I don't have to be keeping up with all this. Yeah, I mean, batteries in my in-ear pack are enough for me to keep up with, much less a guitar. So I'm always have a cable, and I move around so much, you can see it, like, always kinking up. You know what I mean? So between battling that and it's usually my guitar stand that'll find me, or if we're in a like tight bar, I have tripped over some cymbals and stuff. Nice. I love my drummer though.
What's your least favorite thing? Like for us, I guess would be like the new torch that we have when they come up and they're like, "Is this a gun?" I'm like, it drives me nuts. Like, do you think I'd have 30 guns sitting at? Does it look like a gun? Stuff like that. But what's your what do you have like when you play, and that your least favorite question, or just to, like, help people out when you meet people? Don't say this stuff.
When people ask to play Freebird,
I'll tell them $100 and I'll play the shit out of it. But if I'm playing solo, I'm like, I can do the solo, but I'm not physically can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
And it sound good. So I'm gonna leave you hanging right there.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge Skinner junkie, man. I'm trying to think.
We're just gonna hang out for a minute and a half while the solo goes on.
You
guys can hum it.
This is gonna sound funny, but it's only because like my band are my guys, man. No matter it's like my boys, no matter who you're around, like I can talk shit about them, but you can't talk shit about them.
Dude, that's so funny how the same conversation comes up. We were talking about gun violence in America. And like when you see a report of it and then you go in the comments, like it's Americans saying like how tragic,
Right.
But then you have a foreigner being like, what the fuck is wrong with America? And then all the Americans come in and like, we beat your ass in 1776. They just, it's like, we can talk shit about Americans, but outsiders can't. But yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I haven't really had, I've had some people that I kind of like, for keep in mind now, for these few examples, there are tons and tons of people who are awesome. Their feedback's great. It's usually a positive or, that's how we spread our brand. And I do not take that lightly, man. Shaking a hand and somebody coming to a show or spreading the word or buying a sticker or a koozie, all online now. No matter what it is, that really does help. But there are a few, man. Like I had one guy, this is not where I'm going with this. I'm going back to the old band here in a second. But this guy's like, man, you sounded great tonight. We opened up for like Tyler Farr and Craig Campbell and Jared Neiman, Lewis Bryce, Cody Webb, a couple of us on that show in Augusta. At the after party, this guy's like, I see you at Edisto all the time, man. And at Dockside, man, I'll be honest with you, like, I talk shit about you. You sound terrible. And I was like, Okay, cool. I'm like, all right, like, why are you talking to me? You know, but tonight, man, you sounded great. Like, man, your original stuff, man, is awesome. You know, I mean, you know, your cover songs are terrible. And I was like, okay. And then I was waiting on it. And he's like, I play guitar too a little bit. And I was like, here we go. But I also wanted to be like, did it ever occur to you that Dockside, as much as I love it, and I've got 5 shows there this year, it's just a staple place, man. But I want about, did it occur to you that you can't hear crap in there anyway because the acoustics are awful?
Yeah.
So no matter what I sound like Creed or Eddie Vedder trying to sing country.
Eddie Vedder.
So, So did it not dawn on you that here at the Bell Auditorium in Augusta, where there's a professional sound guy and a big stage, you can hear everything. So
and sound.
You have guys like that occasionally. It's just, but you know what, man? It's one of those things that, like Jamie Huff always told me, if you ain't got haters, you ain't doing something
That's
right.
right, dude.
But back to the actual thing though, I do love when people, and again, it's more so positive things. People are like, dude, where'd you find these guys? Because my band, I mean, dude, I'm 32. Hard to believe now.
Your band is stacked.
Joe doesn't really age. He doesn't have an age.
Brag on your band. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
We don't have a lot of time left.
That's where I'm going with this.
Brag on the band.
Yeah, you can tell me, dude, you can cut me down. I've heard it all, right?
Yeah.
But this is where I'm getting at. So for people coming up, always do your research, I think, is probably the takeaway from this. But yeah, Joe doesn't age. I don't even know if he has a number.
Yeah, he looks great.
Birthday, yeah. Brian's in his, I think, early 50s, my spirit animal, and Jim's probably in his late 60s, my bass player. And man, I had a guy, matter of fact, it was at Dockside last year, the year before, we were playing a full band show for Governor's Cup, and Joe's over there shredding, doing his thing, and it was just an exceptionally good show that came together. This guy comes up, a little short kid with a mullet. He puts his phone up, and he's got that little heads-up app or whatever it is, you can read it. And it's like, do you want to find a little younger-looking band? Like, and for some reason, like, I should have laughed at it because they all laugh at it. It'd be like you telling me, like, you're 20 or whatever. But for me, it would be like somebody telling you that Andrew Beam sucks, And,
Yeah.
I just looked at him like Joe was in a solo, and I just looked at him and I was like, I'm going to kill you. Like, just pointed at him in the middle of the crowd. And I was like, why did I just say that? Like, what is wrong with me, And Joe kind of looked at her like, what's wrong with you, man? And I told him, and he started dying laughing. He's like, dude, I forget, like, that I'm my age. He's like, I'm up here. I feel like I'm freaking 21, man.
Yeah.
And I found that kid later, and he's actually a guitar player in Nashville, and he's a young cat, but it was funny. He's like,
he's trying to get a job.
There you go.
Yeah.
Man, I just want to let you know. I was like, man, I really want to play for you one day, man. You're awesome. And I was like, man, well, trash talking my family is not the way to do that.
Also, these guys have so much. They've been in so many bands, and they've played for people like huge people, right? And then their love of music has, I don't know why they're like. You can explain, I don't know their whole backstory, but I know that listening to them talk, it's like the places they've played, the people they've played with, and it's like your band is stacked for sure. Yeah,
and depending on who we have too. Usually I got my core guys, but even the ones we have that sub out, man, are all just freaking rock stars. So I would say that, I'm where I'm at because of them. And the other thing is I'm not local, damn it. Yeah. That just hit me. That's probably the other thing.
Yeah.
People come up, man, I got such, this support. And I know most people don't think about it like that because I do live in South Carolina, but local is generally a synonym with amateur.
Yeah.
So it's very hard. So if
that makes sense.
Say, a promoter or an artist, a big artist. You're like, hey man, I got this local guy, man, he can open for you. When you're like, if I hear that personally, I'm going to be like,
not good.
But you never know. I mean, it's worth researching, but that's the other thing too, man, is recognizing in today's world, just because you're not in Nashville doesn't necessarily mean that you ain't doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, 102,000 miles and that tapping noise on the top left side of my Z71 will tell you.
Already?
102,000 miles in 2 years, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out Marside Motors.
Road warrior. I know that thing's there all the time.
Yeah, well, luckily not, man. They keep me on the road good. I did just, and trailer-wise too, man. They just put new trailer tires on my trailer for me, and I had a freaking screw in it. Like, literally, this first trip out, like, I went to go to Statesboro last Friday, and I was like, God, but you know what? You just got to keep on rolling.
Yeah.
Grab another gear and keep playing country
music. Was Marside Motors a intentional move? Like, I need somebody to keep my truck on the road, or was that just something that happened organically?
Organically, man. It's kind of a long story behind that.
They seem like good guys.
Yeah, Jake's awesome, dude. One heck of a golfer too. He's gonna be mad at me because I'm telling everybody not to bet against him. But I could literally ride around in a golf cart, drink beer, and watch that dude play golf.
Really?
Yeah, and he actually went to Clemson same time I was up there, so it's kind of crazy. Once again, like one handshake away from knowing him before now, but and they've been really good to me, and just it takes a team outside of even the stage. There's a lot to it being a countrypreneur.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
And
it looks like a lot of work and a lot of hustle for sure.
It's a lot of hustle. I just wish everybody was as punctual as we were.
Yeah, I totally get that.
It's crazy, man. That just goes to show you that's in a faithful way. That's just certain doors being held open and a lot of them not opening on purpose.
Yeah,
and everything's comes back around. So I've had a lot of mentors keeping the truck on the road, if you will, or train on the tracks with that mindset as well. It's just be who you are and never burn a bridge, because everything comes back.
What's the future for Andrew Beam?
Well, tonight we're about to go rock it out.
Yeah, you're gonna have a great time tonight.
Then we're gonna have a good time at SEWE. Look forward to making laps by y'all's booth.
Every time you need a refill, come see me.
Yeah, we're doing that. And other than that, recording a bunch of new music this year and getting on as many shows as we possibly can, just climbing that ladder, chasing that neon rainbow.
Hell yeah.
Coming to a town near you. And then that's the other thing too, is we don't have a booking agent. A lot of people think we do, and a lot of the shows are from shaking hands and just by being in the game. Yeah. But there's a lot of it too, man, that people be like, man, you need to reach out to this venue or this festival.
Yeah.
Well, they're dealing with talent buyers a lot of times. Yeah. So if you want to see me, if you're listening to this podcast, and you want to see us, my awesome old band, anywhere that may be, just don't necessarily tell me, shoot the festival a message or tell the promoter. In the meantime, just check the music out. So I've got a good feeling about this year, man. Sooner or later, the balloon's just getting big enough. It's got to go somewhere, you know.
It takes time, man. We've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs and just in business in general. I mean, it takes years to get traction. It takes years to get everything to get everything rolling. And you just never know what's going to happen. So our next guy's here, and
absolutely,
we appreciate you coming, man. I can't wait to hear about the show tonight. I think it's going to be amazing. Wish I could make it.
Well, we'll do some content soon too. We're overdue.
We're definitely going to have to do some content soon, for sure.
Yeah, let me know.
We'll
ahead of time so I can
will
make it out.
A lot of times, what we do, him and I do, is just spur of the moment. So it's and I know that's impossible for you. So you got too much going on.
We'll make it happen. We'll figure it out.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. See y'all next week.
Friends, a good dog, great woman, and the radio on. The only things I'm ever gonna need. Well, I've got a little house full of love, piece of land just getting me along. Sounds pretty good to me. A little bit of a whole lot of nothing, ain't never been bad, ain't ever been hurting full. Thank the good Lord that we're still working and the lights keep turning on. Truck's still cranking and the speaker's still hanking, waking up at the crack of dawn. Sounds to me like a country song. When it rains too much, when it don't rain at all. Can't grow rice or corn for your alcohol. If we could ever catch up, maybe we'd pay it all. But the tax is high and the man's gonna take it all. A little bit of a whole lot of nothing, ain't never been bad, ain't ever been hurting for. Thank the good Lord that we're still working and the lights keep turning on. Truck's still cranking and the speaker's still hanking, waking up at the crack of dawn. Sounds to me like a country song. A little bit of a whole lot of nothing, ain't never been bad, ain't ever been hurting for. Thank the good Lord that we're still working and the lights keep turning on. Truck's still cranking and the speaker's still hanking, waking up at the crack of dawn. Sounds to me like a country song. Truck's still cranking and the speaker's still hanking, waking up at the crack of dawn. Sounds to me like a country song.